Hey everybody, instead of reminding you to check out my Patreon, I still want you to go down to the description below and vote in the poll for the top custom of 2019. From what I understand, most versions of the YouTube mobile app still allow you to do that, so there's very few excuses to not have done it. Hello my friends, this is Wake Angel 2001 coming at you with a commission for Alyanna, another Sonic-themed wedding cake topper. So this wedding cake topper will have a Green Hill theme, as most of them did, but instead of those little violets that go in the background, she wanted the tiki heads. So yeah, let's go ahead and make the topper with the tiki heads instead. So this is kind of cool. The Tiki Head's base structure is made in Tinkercad. Basically, I stacked three toy ring shapes on top of each other and stretched them out so that they were kind of like these coconut-shaped looking things. And then I put a cone so that there would be a spike to stick into the base. So these things are actually just shy of 3 inches tall. Actually, they are 3 inches tall when you count the spike, making them one of the largest objects that I've actually made in my 3D printer. So once those are made, all I have to do is be repainted into the tiki heads. And it's kind of cool because the texture from the 3D printing artifacts actually does make it look more like wood. That's kind of fun. So after I made those shapes in the 3D printer, I thought that it would be pretty cool if I could also make the sunflowers because, you know, cutting circles out of the foam is actually kind of hard to do because, you know, corners, it's hard to cut out of circles, what I'm trying to get at. So I also 3D printed the sunflower heads. Of course, the stems and leaves are still made out of toothpicks and craft foam because I think, you know, because this is like a solid wooden stick, it's of course going to be more durable than an equivalently thick stick that I could 3D print. I just don't think it would 3D print as well, is what I'm trying to say. Then, of course, comes the circular base itself. It's just a craft foam circle, smooth foam, which is painted with the iconic checkerboard pattern from Green Hill. So, you know, checkered grass and rocks. And once the base is all painted up, I was able to stick the tiki heads and the sunflowers in using their sharp bits. So they would neatly frame the bride and groom character. Then, of course, is a nice 4-inch diameter brass ring, which makes the huge special stage ring that sets up the background. And that is the base for the wedding cake topper. So with that out of the way, let's show how I made the bride and groom themselves. Alright, so starting with Sonic, these are the only parts of him that actually had anything to do with the customizing process, because all I had to do was put a little suit jacket on him. I used craft foam to make the coattails, which hang just below his spines, and then used my epoxy sculpt to make the cummerbund, the lapels, and the bow tie. Painted up, you get this nice little image of Sonic's little suit. And then the arms need to be painted black because of the sleeves, but then the rest of the figure was put back together again with no real further modification. It's actually not that difficult to make a Sonic groom figure. Like, the hardest part is just making sure that the shoulders don't peel when you move the arms around. So this is always the simplest part. I mean, that's kind of how it is, right? What the groom just has to rent or buy a tuxedo, and everybody really cares about how the bride looks. So let's get ahead to making the bride. So starting with the bottom half, I painted the little skirt that Amy comes with white, so it wouldn't show too much. But I forgot to take a picture of that, sorry. And then wrapped it up in this lace trim, which is really nice for making a cute little lacy skirt, just like how a wedding dress typically looks. The upper body had some hard sculpting in, mostly to evoke the look of the bodice that actually goes on to, you know, how wedding dresses look. With a quick little paint job, it's basically just wearing a nice white dress, showing off a little bit of pink because Amy is pink. I then use these stick-on rhinestones that I always use to decorate the top part. I like to put a little tiara thing on the veil. And the veil is, of course, made out of tulle fabric, which is very similar to what actual veils are made out of. The hardest part is making sure it's crinkled in the back in just the right way so that it actually comes down and frames her face instead of like just trying to stick up, because at these small sizes, tulle fabric, has enough of a shape memory that it doesn't really like to bend down and fold over itself. Yeah, most veils just drape because they're held down by their own weight, but this is too small for that. But that is a little Amy bride figure. All she needs is her tiny bouquet, and the bride specified that she wanted the bouquet to be made out of sunflowers because they're doing this whole theme with their wedding, and a sunflower bouquet is what we do. So I used a hole puncher to make the centers of the flowers, snipped the little petals, they're really tiny, and I snip, and toothpicks for the stems, wrapped up in a paper and glued onto her hand so she can hold it. Remember, the wrist and shoulder joints still work, so if you want to subtly repose Amy to be holding the flowers in a different position, that is still possible. Now, if you'll allow me to indulge in a parody, I've always wanted to do this. Circular foam base, $5. Assorted craft paints, $1.50 per tube. Brass rings, $1.50 for a 2-pack. Sonic the Hedgehog and Amy Rose as bride and groom figures, $35 plus whatever the going rate for a Jazzwares classic Sonic and Amy is these days. Knowing that you can indulge in your geeky fandoms with your significant other on the most important day of your lives? Priceless. There are some things that money can't buy. For the rest, there's Wake Angel 2001 Customs. I hope that tracked. Like, I know it's been a long time since those commercials were on the air, but, back when I was younger, those were really big viral hits, and everybody liked to make parodies of them. And this is really one of those times that I could do it for myself. So, that is the latest bride and groom the latest wedding cake topper made by Wake Angel 2001. Seems I'm doing these at least once a year now, huh? So, thank you all for watching the video. Alyanna, I hope you have a wonderful wedding and marriage. And thank you all for watching the video. Now, just remember, go down to the link below to vote for the top custom of 2019. This is Wake Angel 2001, signing off.